So, the leadership today and the leadership 30 years ago, how the difference is? Because when we were young engineers, way back in 1996, we have seen those days leaders, and we have been working as leaders in 2026. So, there is the huge and the clear difference which is visible, and this is something very interesting to discuss about. When we were young, way back around 30 years back, we were the young engineers full of energy. We saw leaders with the qualities which were exceptional, like technically those people were highly qualified, technically those people were very competent. Though we did not have that much of technology those days, we did not have mobile phones, laptop, internet, this that, but still the the level of communication of those leaders was is really commendable. Now, when we talk about the leadership of those people, the leadership difference 30 years back was like, those days the leadership was, it was always top down. I mean, the message never flew from bottom to top. I mean, that instructions always used to come from top to bottom. That was a very important aspect of the leadership those days. The decisions were centralized because the leaders were only supposed to take decisions, and the people down the line were allowed to take only the actions on those decisions without questioning the decisions, though right or wrong. And I think somewhere this is one of the reasons that projects those days were not having so much of ambiguities. I mean, this is how I look at it. So just wanted to share with you. Those days, stability and routine were more for the leaders because options were less. Though leaders were born in the companies, they used to work in the companies, they used to retire from the same companies, and that is how they used to get established as a respectable individual of the organization. Experience and tenure based authority was there. Like, those people were the people who had good experience, and that is the reason that they always used to play long tenures, and their actions were always task and output focused. Their actions were always like focused on the outputs which were supposed to be. But when we talk about the leadership today, it is completely different. Now, the leadership today, the most important aspect, the leadership quality a leader must have is the emotional intelligence and the empathy. Unless you have this emotional intelligence and empathy, it will be very difficult for you to be a leader in today's world. And I think somewhere it is required also, because unless you have empathy and emotional intelligence, you can't have that bond with your team. Second important thing of today's leadership, which I have observed, is the collaboration and team empowerment. You have to empower your team. I mean, nowadays the things are not like that you have to keep all the power within you. You can't do that, because somewhere you have to delegate the power. Otherwise, these mega projects, you won't be able to handle them unless you empower your team. Adaptability and learning is the next very important thing which today's leader must have, because without this adaptability, agility cannot come. Unless you have the agility, you cannot manage your scope changes, you cannot manage the volatility, the uncertainty, the risk involved in today's projects. So I think this is also very, very important, which we have to take as one of the leadership attributes in today's time. Your actions has to be purpose driven, and they have to be, strategically, they have to be the strategically they have to be oriented to the organization strategy. You must be knowing that this is how the organization has created the strategy, and all my actions and my team's action has to be around these strategies only. I mean, you cannot be off the line from those strategies. And the most important quality of today's leadership is the transparency and the communication. I think this is the most important thing. Unless you have the transparency, you have a good communication skills, it is very difficult for any individual to become a leader. So when you look at it, the leadership is something which is evolving continuously, and unless we put ourselves into that basket of change, we make ourselves adaptive, we make our thought process agile, it will be difficult for us to sustain as a leaders. And at the end of the day, when AI is also coming, the combination of AI is a very good thing. But trust me, unless an individual, unless you have a good understanding of emotional intelligence, I think using AI will be, not so productive for any person. I think this is how I look at it. So most important thing is that before we bring AI into our team, AI implementation, I think the most important thing for a leader of today is the emotional intelligence. So this is how we look at it. Now, in order to go further, we'll discuss more about it. And I would request you to subscribe to my channel, the YouTube channel, PPM with Rajdeep, so that we can be in touch and we can create that community, a better one, the bigger one, which is already growing at a fast pace, all because of your love and affection. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.